ready for speech number 2. Here's my peeps. There we go. Alright.
I was so bland on that.
Alright.
We're listening.
Okay, so I gathered you guys here today to talk about suicide in the military. The main purpose I brought you here is about the question of like high rates of suicide in the military, and what I want you to get out of this is having an overall awareness and knowledge of it. Now the main question is why? Why are military members committing suicide at such high rates? Are they internal problems? Are they external problems? What I mean by internal problems is it's at work, in the military, while you're at your job, and external problems are while they're at home. After my recent research and study, I'm qualified to speak to you about this topic today. Alright, so let's start out with the problems. Let's start with externally. A few of the problems that military members have externally are failed intimate relationships, which means you can't get along with your spouse, there's cheating, or your spouse can't even work with your military schedule. Sometimes it's tough for them. And there's other times where you have legal problems, you have problems with the law, you have problems with the court. And the other problem is financial. Sometimes military members get in such financial debt because they don't really understand their income. Military members don't get a large income, so when they get into financial debt, sometimes they can't handle it and commit suicide. Another issue military members have is alcohol and even drug use. A lot of military members use alcohol to cope with work problems and at home problems. Internal problems in the military. Sometimes military people, they go into the military right out of high school and they don't like where they are, they don't like their job, or they don't like to go on deployment, and that's very tough on them, and sometimes they can't do that. Another problem is a lot of people go into the military and recruiters just accept them without knowing some mood disorders they may have. Another one is deployment. A lot of people don't want to go on deployment, they don't want to leave their family, and they think like they're being forced to, and to get out of that they end their lives. And out of this becomes PTSD. Now that you know the internal and external factors, I'm going to talk a little bit about PTSD. From the National Institute of Mental Health, I've come across this information. PTSD is post-traumatic stress disorder. It's caused by shocking, scaring, or dangerous experience. Usually people have a natural flight or flight response to protect oneself, and where PTSD comes out of it is where the person can't get over that experience, where they can't get past it. A couple symptoms people have with PTSD are flashbacks, bad dreams, and just frightening thoughts of going places. You can notice people who have PTSD who are on edge, or have lack of sleep, or even have angry outbursts. Or people who get PTSD is, say, their friend gets shot on deployment and they feel guilty or blamed for it. So now you know the internal and external factors and a little bit about PTSD. I'm going to give you some statistics that I've covered. Military suicide has raised a huge concern just because in the past decade it has increased massively. Military suicides can be lower than the civilian sector until wartime came along. So when 9/11 happened and the war in Iraq and Afghanistan occurred, more military suicides became prominent. So out of 100 people, 30 of those people were suicide. Out of 100,000 suicides, 30 military members committed suicide. So in 2012, the service record was 1 death every 2.2 days, which is massive. So between 2001 and 2010, the rates of suicide between military members have doubled. So that's averaging about 22 veterans die every day from suicide. So the problem still exists. And on top of that, once the war started, there was more suicides than there was killing in the war by enemy military. A little story I want to share with you is a guy I worked with in the Navy. His name was Airman Esconde, also known as Boogie. he committed suicide and nobody knew why. And now I just wanted to show you guys that sometimes you don't know when people have problems internally or externally, and they end up killing their lives, and nobody knew what Iskandar had problems. So solutions to this is always to seek help. There's always help out there. There's people that care for you. There's always medical treatment. You can go see a therapist or even a chaplain if you're religious. So in conclusion of this speech, I want you to get out of this to be aware, to speak out about it, to help other people be aware. And the lasting impression I want you to know about is you never may truly know how someone is feeling and problems they have. What are you going to do to prevent suicide? I ask you to not stand by and help those who serve you. Thank you for listening.
Yay! Thank